Can we talk about Sinclair a little bit and how emotional this game not only could be for her because of what's happening, but also the stadium could be packed and just rooting for the Thorns entire game. So can you talk about a little bit about how that environment could be crucial for this game?
Yeah, I think it helps, and we need our fans. We love playing at home. Our record has been very, very good. We had the one back-to-back blip, but I don't think the performance deserved the end result in the second game of that. But do you want me to admit?
Yeah.
Sorry, all for 11. But I go back to this time last year and Orlando game, sink. Angel City last game, sink. You know, when this stadium is packed and they're right behind us, and the team needs to respond, we always have. And I think we will again tomorrow night, and we can use the best way to honour Christine Sinclair tomorrow night is by the players' performance on the field.
All right, go ahead. You need a minute, Fook, or you ready to go?
Yeah, I can go. Sorry. Yeah, Rob, and then just speaking of MA, how's she looked in training so far? I know just getting in her first week with the team, and then you spoke about wanting a left-footed left back for quite a bit as well.
Yeah.
What does she bring to the club, and do you kind of envisioned tapping into her versatility at winger, or see her mainly as a fullback?
Yeah, I'd say definitely mainly as a fullback. That's a primary position, and what she adds is a dynamic attacking threat from that. She settled in really well. She feels she's had some of those aspects of her game taken out of her in the last year or so at Angel City. And obviously when you've got a Giselle and, Alyssa and others higher up, then maybe there's not the need for that attack in mindset, and they probably restricted her a little more. I think she epitomizes a Thorns footballer. She can be front-footed. She can be aggressive. She's going to fight both sides of the ball. She wants to join in the attack. She's really dynamic. She can go outside. She can go inside. She uses the ball well. It gives us that balance we've been craving, and additional depth that we've been craving. So very positive these first few days.
Yeah, and then Rob, I know you were talking about a lot of like the knocks some of the players have picked up, just with the minute and just the workload that they've gone through. Any availability concerns, just for tomorrow?
No, we're in a lot better shape than we were last week. Delighted to say, even just talking to the Raylands and Pietras and getting Jess out, later on Rayner, even just a few minutes here and there. It's been big loads, and I'm just looking through the minutes, and obviously because we're thin, it's by necessity, and we've had all of the adversity and the injuries and everything else, and you don't want to take them out the lineup. I'd love everyone to be full tilt 90 minutes every week, but it's a long, hard season, and the travel and everything else. And these players are playing more minutes than they've had in their entire career. And we've had first years playing more minutes they ever had in college football, and now at a much higher level. And so the wear and tear on that is key. And when we're already got injuries and the serious ones that we've had, performance really has to try and help these players as best they can. And sometimes I've just got to take that on the chin a little bit with where we're at and the squad depth and say, okay, this is the game that maybe we rest to go again. And that very much felt a bit like that last week, but I'm excited. I'm energized. The team is in a great mood, energy wise, like ready to put a front-footed performance on tomorrow night in front of a big house. And like I said, on a sink in the exact right way.
Yeah, and then Rob, you've not been shy about playing young players, whether that's necessity or just because they've earned it, right? But I'm curious with Laila and Valerin making their debuts, especially with the team, hunting for the playoffs, 4 matches left. Could you still see that? How do you balance playing those young players and playing the veterans as well?
I mean, look, if you look at the minutes, Sam Coffey, Hina Sugita, Liv Moultrie, they're all over 2,000. I think they're the 3 highest played players I've played all season. Jesse Fleming's right behind that, 18, 1900, I think. So, yes, we've played young players, but also we've tried to keep that experienced midfield on the field as often as possible. I think it's Sam and then Hina are my 2 most played players against availability. So we try and find that right balance. And then sometimes when you're playing a youngster, you're looking at what the experience, the partnership is alongside them. A lot of different facets in trying to put the jigsaw puzzle together. Others, you know, especially in the front line, we haven't had much choice. And there's Kaya, there's Raylin, there's Pietra. They're all young. So even like Julie comes in as what, 24, Lex is 23, 24. You know, we are a young squad. I think what each of those two players offer that you mentioned is a different skill set that at the right time, it can still be used in the right way. But, you know, in the ideal world, we're dominating with the ones that start and you can bring them on and it's not the same pressure that they have to feel. But again, I have no problem putting them in there because they do have qualities. And if those qualities can help us win a football match, then we will use them at the right time.
I'm gonna go back to Guillermo here in the room.
Rob, it's a celebration for the Thorns fans tomorrow just because of what's going on. But also there's been a lot of national attention on the city of Portland the last week or so. Maybe unfortunate coming into this game, but this is one of those games where the fans are coming together. The city is coming together. What does it mean to you to have this kind of special night, especially during what's going on in the country?
Honestly, it's like everything for us and the team and the community. It is one. When this club is at its best, it's right together against the world, against it. It could be politics, it can be injustice, it can be equality. You know, when Portland comes together, no, I've said it time and time again in the time that I've been here, nobody does it better. And nobody supports their sports teams like Portland supports their sports teams. And we want them to support every single individual within that group to rise these ladies up as this team has helped the city rise and put it on the map in terms of women's sports in the global. The community can help us do that and the fans. And there's no place more intimidating. You know, when you speak to an MA who comes in and she's played here before or why they want to come here, they're like, this is the hardest place to come and play football because they know the fans and the community are right behind us. And yeah, if we can galvanize that energy and utilize it in the right way, making sure that the emotion is harnessed in the right way, then it's a very, very powerful force and one we want to capitalize on to intimidate opponents, officials, and everybody who comes in here to the benefit of this team.
Take it back to you, Fook.
Yeah, and then Rob, can you just talk to us about this Hina Sugita trade as well? I know, you know, getting MA back in return and, you know, a lot of funds as well, but just, you know, her impact on the city and, you know, on you as a head coach, you know, and obviously the team as well.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know who you've spoken to. Universally loved. Universally loved. Zero maintenance for me as a coach. And I think the proof is in the pudding in the amount of minutes I played her from my very first game and bring her into that central midfield and every possible game since. And we missed her last year when there were 7 games away and after the fracture and everything else. And the tough part of football is you build those relationships, but we know in the team it's conditional. And it was a player decision. I think that's the only saving grace in, like, you know, when Janine leaves or somebody who really didn't want to go in the old system, that's very tough. But when a player wishes to go now and they have to approve it and they have to want it, and it's good for her for financial and other reasons and future and securities, then it's hard to be, you know, disappointed for Hina because we all universally love her, and the club, I think, have said it. This has to be what's right for the club and what's right for the player. The challenge for us as a team is we have to do a job. I can work with the players that are at my disposal and utilize them, and I'll focus on the ones that are here. And anyone who served us as greatly as Hina deserves our respect, our love, our admiration. She will always have that. It's an emotional week. There's no getting away from that. But yeah, there has to be all agreements by all parties to make it work these days. And obviously this was a player and a club decision. I think ultimately once that decision was made to get what they did and to be able to bring in a quality component that's good for us in the future and everything helps. But you're not going to hide it's a loss. Nobody would hide that. And the club, I think, and you've spoken to Jeff, so you'll know, did everything they could to try and offer a contract, keep her here longer. I have this conversation with Emma Hayes, and she's like, your job's impossible as a club coach in the NWSL, because I lose 7 players to the season, and or players leave and trade because it's better for them. And contract at Chelsea, you replace them with someone and you can pay $500,000 to everybody. I'd love 26 international footballers that I could throw all the money that they want and need in, because then I've got the greatest job in the world. I've got competition for places in every single position. And that's a great privilege to be in. It's not the way it is in NWSL. That's the challenge of the league. We understand that's a challenge as a coach in a salary cap league. It's a challenge of a coach with our model and the finances and everything else. But you won't hear anybody in this organization ever say a bad word about Hina Sugita. And all I can say, she sent me a lovely message when she finally left and left me a note, and I'll keep that to me. But yeah, we wish her all the best going forward, except when we play her in 2 weeks' time.